In my opinion, it looks like Pokemon investing has pretty much been on easy mode, and at the least for the last 90 days. Because if I look at all the charts for all the sets, at least the modern sets that were released in the past few years, so that's all the Scarlet Violet era sets and the Mega Evolution sets, this is what all the sets look like. The value of all the cards, that is, when calculated together and put into multiple charts, this is what it looks like. And you could easily tell that there are a number of them that have climbed significantly and steadily in the last 90 days. And which ones are they? Well, in this chart right here are the more recent sets. So we have Ascended Heroes being this top yellow line. No surprise, it is currently about $7,800 if you were to add all the cards together. And all these bottom ones are Chaos Rising, Perfect Order, Phantasmal Flames, Mega Evolution, and I added Destined Rivals there just because I was pretty sure that it is generally flat, like it's increasing, but it's not increasing as significantly as other sets. And that's exactly what we have been seeing for Destined Rivals. It's this light blue line right here. It's been a nice steady climb basically for Destined Rivals. It was like 1,900 and now it's at 2,300, 2.2k. And you can tell that everything else is somewhat flat as well. And in these other three charts are the sets that are older, with the exception of Black Bolt, White Flare, because I want Black Bolt and White Flare to be on one chart. And you guys know that both of those were released after Destined Rivals. So we have Black Bolt, White Flare in this chart. Here it is the blue line and the green line. White Flare is blue, Black Bolt is green, and you could see that the trend for these sets are definitely steeper than Destined Rivals. Prismatic Evolutions is this yellow one, also a pretty good increase or gain over the last 90 days. And I just put Journey together here because I needed to put it somewhere, and I had a feeling it was pretty flat, and it is kind of flat. It is steadily increasing, but much slower. The velocity is slower than all the other sets. And then these two bottom charts are probably the most interesting. Well, no, not necessarily. White Flare and Black Bolt are also interesting, but these two charts contain a lot of other interesting information. This one here contains Paldean Fates, 151, Paldea Evolve, Obsidian Flames, Scarlet Violet. And you can probably guess which one is Obsidian Flames and Scarlet Violet. It's these two bottom lines. These two have lagged behind quite a bit compared to other Scarlet Violet sets because of, I think, a lack of attractive illustrations. Not that they don't increase, they definitely have. It's just, again, the velocity is slower. But, you know, if you pick some cards up from those two sets, 3 months ago, you would be in the positive, because it doesn't mean that these sets don't have anything good. So Obsidian Flame, Scarlet Violet, they have also gained over time. Not as much as Paldea Evolved, no surprise. That's the one with the Shinji Kanja Magikarp, plus many other nice cards, illustration rares, and SIRs. So Paldea Evolved is currently, let's see, it was 1.5k 90 days ago. It's now 2.1k. Crazy. The green is 151, and 151 has already seen its gain. It's still steadily climbing, but at a much slower rate now. This is the 151 is the green line right here. And then what's this blue line? This blue line is probably one of the more fascinating ones. Paldean Fates. It was 2.0k and now it is 3.0k. $1,000 gain over the last 90 days. And then still over here in this chart, we have so many other sets. These are all the Scarlet Violet ones. We have Surging Spark, Stellar Crown, Twilight Masquerade, Shrouded Fable, Paradox Rift, and Temporal Forces. All of these have gained. And these are all sets that I've already talked about. And I mentioned, you should definitely pick up some cards. And that's simply because of the cycles that Pokemon goes through. Print cycles, that is. These sets are no longer going to be printed. Either they have already ceased or they are going to, and I'm pretty sure they already have, but you will still see them on shelves. Just it's going to trickle away. And hence we are seeing a nice steep increase in price for all of these sets. And so I say Pokemon investing, not collecting, but investing is on easy mode just because this right here, this trend was pretty obvious. Pokemon is not like stocks, where the price of the stock is dependent on the service of the company that is behind the stock, as well as the profitability of the company behind the stock. Pokemon, like many other collectibles, is dependent on rarity and emotions, in my opinion. Emotions meaning the sentimentality of it and what people think of the artwork. And yes, rarity plays a part in it. You know, an SIR may be different from an illustration rare, but not in all cases, because you guys already know that not all SIRs are worth more than illustration rares or even ultra rares, because the emotional value or the attachment to certain characters and certain artwork is that much of the underlying current, so to speak, that drives a card's price or a set's price. And then, of course, we do have, like I said, the print cycles, which goes into the whole rarity thing. Actually, I guess I should say the scarcity thing. So if some set is going to go out of print, people are going to flock into that set and buy up whatever cards that they think will go up in value. And generally, it means a lot of the illustration rares and some of the SIRs. And what tends to go up most would be the ones that seem to be favored the most by the community, maybe artwork wise or character wise, or even the cuteness of the card. And not saying that all the other cards are going to be neglected. No, generally those do go up at some point, just at a slower pace. And yes, there are cards that you should probably avoid if you are investing and you want to see your collection of cards go up in value. Yeah, there are some cards that typically don't do well. There's just a pattern that you can see in these things. Now, in terms of percentage changes, because these are price changes, what about percentage change? And I can easily change that to these, just change the price display to index. So here we have percentage change of White Flare, Black Bolt, Prismatic, and Journey Together. Journey Together has actually seen a growth, but again, it is the least amount of growth compared to these other three. Black Bolt, White Flare right here, the green and blue line, has seen the greatest amount of growth percentage-wise, Prismatic being third here in this chart. And what about for Paldean Fates and everything else that is in this chart? This one too, 151, like I said, has kind of stagnated. It definitely saw a rise. Now here's Obsidian Flames in red. It has seen growth pretty much about the same rate as Scarlet Violet. It's the purple one. It's literally mixed in with the red. And orange is Paldea Evolved, has seen a nice steady increase. And then blue, like I said, Paldean Fates, has seen the most right here. And now 52.7% increase compared to what it was 90 days ago. How about this one? And I remember this is the chart with Stellar Crown, Twilight Masquerade, a lot of the Scarlet Violet era sets. All of them have just gone up. Temporal Forces being the one that has increased the most, 55.3%. Geez, there are some good cards here that have been neglected for a very long time, so I am not shocked by it. Paradox Rift as well. And I think my favorite, or one of my favorite in Paradox Rift, is the Swablu, plus the Alteria, the SIR Alteria. And if you guys haven't checked the PSA 10 Swablu yet, you should probably check that out. The price for that is insane. Stellar Crown also has gone up, of course, and everything else has gone up. There. That's all I'm going to say about this chart. This was pretty obvious that this was going to happen. But what I'm going to look at real quick is Paldean Fates. Paldean Fates, I barely opened any packs for Paldean Fates because I jumped back into Pokemon after the set had largely been released. And I don't really like a lot of the cards that they have, like the shiny cards right here. Granted, these shiny cards are really the reason why Paldean Fates has jumped a lot in price. So here is my table for Paldean Fates. It is, I believe it is arranged based on the price, the most expensive being on the top. And of course, Mew, Bubble Mew, is the one that commands the highest price at about $1,000. Jeez. And that is the card right here, this Bubble Mew. You guys are familiar with it, I'm sure. And here are some shinies that have done really well. I don't know if you want to pick up any of these shinies. I don't even know if they're worth this much. I mean, Pikachu, I can understand $89 for Pikachu. It has stagnated for a bit. And of course, Charmander, well, Charmander looks like has gained some more. And these two plus Abra is not much of a wonder to me because they are part of Gen 1. Honestly, if I were to pick up a card, a shiny card from Paldean Fates, I'd just do Pikachu, Charmander. If there's Squirtle and Bulbasaur there, I don't know if there is. I pick up those. Those tend to be the safest ones. And again, the SIRs as well. I think the SIRs are pretty beloved for Paldean Fates. And then the next one we're going to look at real quick is Black Ball White Flare. These have been going on a tear. I think they might have reached a peak. I have actually been selling my Black Bolt White Flare illustration rares because I had a feeling that these are going to be picked up, and they have been. So if things are getting picked up, that's a good time to sell, not just to buy. And I'd rather sell some things in order to get money back in order to put into the next set, basically. Just roll it over. That's how I see it. So this chart here is Black Bolt and White Flare combined. And all this green that you see in the 30-day and the 90-day, absolute insanity. These are all the illustration rares and the SIRs. And I have some of them right here, some of the ones that have done really well. Seismitoad from Black Bolt, that is a Shinji Kanda artwork. So yeah, of course, $236. At this point, it's going to catch up to Magikarp. I think Magikarp is $500, something like that. And then Oshawott, because Oshawott is really, really cute. I did not pull Oshawott at all. I wish I did, but I think Oshawott is White Flare. This should be White Flare. And then Zoroark as well as Zorua have done really well. Plus 33% for Zoroark in the past 30 days, 64% for Zorua. And the curious case for Zoroark here and Zorua is that Zoroark is more expensive than Zorua. And I say this is kind of peculiar just because typically if you were to choose a Pokemon from one of the stages of the evolution line, then the base one would usually be more expensive just because I think it's really, really cute. Kind of like Oshawott right here. Oshawott is $94. In this case, Zorua is actually cheaper than Zoroark. And maybe it's because, the form Zoroark is just more popular or just looks so much cooler than Zorua. I don't know. Or maybe because of the influence of Zoroark, could be that as well. But then that means maybe Zorua has still a lot of room to grow because it is still a cute card. It's really nice. And then Oshawott is a 3-stage evolution Pokemon. So Oshawott is the base one. No surprise, it commands quite a high price. But if you look here at the table, let's look at Samurott. Samurott is its final evolutionary form. Samurott is just $50. Even though Samurott is obviously a more powerful Pokemon, and it is cool in its own way. I actually do like Samurott. Still, people love Oshawott way more. And then other cards that did really well, Conkeldurr. I didn't know this card existed. That looks beastly. That is a crazy card. Conkeldurr right here went up 55% in the last 30 days. Pansage, I did pull this, but I sold it too early. I had a feeling that it would go up just because it's such a cute card. But that didn't happen until sometime after I had sold it. For some reason, someone actually did a buyout. It really was a buyout. I believe it was on TCG Player because I took a peek at TCG. And yeah, there was this buyout. I think maybe 20-ish days ago, more than 20 days ago, something like that. And literally, if we keep turning the page at this table, we are still going to see green because, there's a lot of illustration rares and whatnot. So much green. Look at all this green. Yeah, Black Ball White Flare is going to do really, really well over time. And I think there will still be growth, even though it is, barely a year old. And if we're talking about print cycles, it should still be printing, usually for at least another year, but it doesn't look like they're going to be printing much of it. So that is probably one of the main factors that is driving this price for Black Bolt White Flare. Either way, you guys can see it both as maybe a good time to buy as well as a good time to sell. Because remember that if you are investing, you still have to sell. So you need to plan your exit strategy. Is it going to be now? Is it going to be later? What can you afford? Can you afford to hold? Or do you think it's best to sell now in order to roll your investment money into something else later? Up to you guys. But yeah, Black Bolt White Flare has definitely been seeing a lot of spikes. And then the second to last thing to go over is this next table, which has the Twilight Masquerade, Surging Sparks, Scarlet, Violet, and I think Shrouded Fable, and I forget what else I put in here. I actually put multiple sets, up to 5 sets here, just to imitate most of the sets here, right here. This has 6, so I'm missing something down there. I think I'm missing Paradox Rift. But yeah, I have 5 of them here in this chart because I wanted to see what is going on. And in general, they have been doing really, really well. Some of the higher priced cards have kind of stalled, like Dash Bun. This is the SIR from Stellar Crown. Morty's Conviction, which is a trainer card, but it has Gengar on it. So I think that's why this was really pricey. And it's only gone down like 0.6%. That's not a whole lot. Carmine from Twilight Masquerade has gone down a little bit because, you know, trainer cards don't tend to do as well as Pokemon cards. And then Terrapagos looks like people have been selling this more than they've been buying it up. I don't think the scarcity of Stellar Crown is really hitting the market just like really hitting the market just yet, but that might mean it's a good time to buy some Stellar Crown stuff. Shrouded Fable has been doing pretty well. There's a lot of Shrouded Fable here that has been going up, like Monkey Dory, as well as Dusclops and Houndoom. Those were really cool cards to pick up. Only a few things are not as green, but honestly, in my opinion, because there's so much green still, a lot of the things that are going red at the moment, they're very likely to go green very soon again, because the things that are red currently are not bad stuff. You got Dustmore here and you have Drampa as well. This is Drampa from Scarlet Violet. Is this Drampa from Scarlet Violet? SV05 184. Well, I can take a look. I am looking for the other Drampa. Oh, Temporal Forces right here. Temporal Forces should be TEF, so it should not say SV05. So gotta get that fixed. But anyways, Drampa here, yeah, it had actually gone up and then it had gone down and then it's bouncing back again. Yeah, this is the card that I have kept. I did not sell that card. I pulled one, I believe, and I did not sell it because I can't. I don't want to. That is a cool card. Drampa is awesome. He's the grandpa that you always wanted. So yeah, turning the page, still plenty of green, a few reds, sure, but not a big deal when looking at the ton of green that is around the red. And these two right here have done pretty well. Just a couple pictures I'm just going to show you. Gouging Fire, that's from Scarlet Violet. This is a, no, this is not from Scarlet Violet. I mean, yes, it is Scarlet Violet, but it is Temporal Forces, I believe, yeah. Temporal Forces, Gouging Fire, $60.48. Looks like it's going to stall a little bit here, or it has been stalling, which may be a good time to buy, maybe. Reuniclus as well, it has gone up in the past 30 days, gone up 135.4%. It did. It was like $9 and at one point, and then went up to $27 at its peak. This may be a good pickup as well. Now, the very last thing to go over is what do you do if all these cards that you've just seen is too expensive as it is, right? $42, $35, $53, $80, $90, $200. Then what do? Well, if you want to get the most bang for your buck, then you have to think long term by thinking about this chart, this boring chart right here, where nothing is moving very much. Except maybe Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals is actually kind of expensive. So maybe ignore Destined Rivals. But everything else, Chaos Rising, Perfect Order, Ascended Heroes, Phantasmal Flames, and Mega Evolution. The more recent sets that have been released, eventually these will disappear as well. And the supply of cards for these sets, of course, it is high right now because these are the sets that are currently available and certainly more readily available than everything else that you see here. But that means the cards here are cheap, and there are some really good cards that I am positively sure will do really well in a couple years. Maybe in just 1 year. Oh yeah, another thing I should mention is Journey Together. Journey Together is still pretty cheap, but there are some noteworthy cards in there like the Whale Lord. And I'm sure some of you guys know what I'm talking about. But look up the Whale Lord in Journey Together. And look at all the other cards there. Like Journey Together, it's another very neglected set. Anyhow, that is all I want to talk about. Again, Pokemon investing is kind of easy. It may be kind of hard choosing which card you want and want to hold. But relatively speaking, if you get the illustration rares and SIR, those tend to do really well over time. Because again, scarcity will happen. But that's a long-term thing. So think about that. And again, if you don't want to bother choosing a card, just keep something sealed. Sealed stuff goes up too. Very easy, very simple. It's not stocks. It is sentimentality. That is what Pokemon collecting is. Sentimentality and scarcity. And now that is it. If you guys would like to have your own charts like this, and now I can say charts with the plural, and all this data available to you so that you can analyze the market yourself all in one page. So then you can sign up for my website, ShinyBinder.com. It is free. You do need an email for it. And this dashboard, this is what it's called. This dashboard will be available soon. Got to work out a few kinks. Anyhow, thank you all for the support. See you all in the next video.